Welcome back to Railroads Online. I am Rever, and we have come back to a winter wonderland. Went away for a weekend. Next thing I know, it snowed all over everything. Well, except for the train cars. They don't get snow on them. And also, I think I may be a ghost. I don't leave any footprints anywhere, so. But it does look nice. I know some people are complaining a little bit about it. I wanted to complain because I thought it was covering my marks, but I can see them well enough, depending on the circumstance. They're a little bit harder to see, but I can see them well enough to stop in the right spots. So since the last episode, I got this whole train of iron unloaded, and I pulled it up right here to get an idea of where we could park this thing. And I thought, well, let me get a better idea. Like this bypass track, I was hoping to just leave it on here so that we could go do some more runs and not have to take this guy someplace else and still be able to get in and out. And maybe some of you can see off to the right there. What I did was I extended this. So I parked this here so that we could see pretty close to how long I would need. This one sticks out a little bit further. We'll see. Hopefully this is long enough to be able to stick so you can see this track over here. So I think I have it all set up where we can back in. And after I drop that off, you can see there's no train, obviously, or locomotive attached to it. What I had done was I had disconnected and went up to the freight depot and bought a few more cars because we currently have three of these tankers, and if I can get to the point where we have five, then I could call 60 oil, which means that in two trips, and those cars are just too expensive. I only have 2,700, which I could buy one more of them, but that doesn't really make a difference. So I think I'm, like, in other words, even if I had seven instead of five, I still wouldn't have enough to carry all of our oil in one trip. So that's what I did here. So what I'd like to do now is back in and offload those oil cars, pull out of the way, get the climax out of the way with those two box cars. So I'm not sure how the best way to get him out of the way. I might just pull him all the way forward. We'll see. But the next step is going to be getting this guy into there so we can at least temporarily drop off those the tanker cars so that we can then get those tier one flatbeds with no sides or anything on there so we can haul more steel pipes. So I got two more of these so that we had 10 over there already. This will be number 11 and 12. And what that'll do is each one of them holds 9 steel pipes. So we can get up to, we should be able to, you know what, I went all the way over there to, I'm running around talking so much. Let's get out of here again. I need to run back. Sorry. I wanted to make sure I was switched onto the right track. But so in any event, each one holds 9. We now have 12, so that's 108, which also is almost exactly the number we have. Not that that matters. Yeah, I am switched correctly. I thought I was switched correctly before, and I ran back there and didn't check, just talked and talked. All right, so here we go. So now let's go back and get these two guys dropped off and hooked up. And I'm thinking that maybe we could take all of the cars, 17 cars. Now, the only thing is when we come back, I'm not going to need all of these cars there, right? Should have some heat left. Yeah, I just put new heat in there. I just pulled back not too long ago, so. Yeah, there's definitely people complaining about this physics thing that's like happening right now, where you got to be up to like 60%. There is a certain amount of inertia to overcome to get something moving. You know, like once it's moving, it's kind of easier to keep it moving. But I'm not sure that you should have to turn the regulator up that high. But then again, I've never operated a steam locomotive from 1880 or 1900, whatever this thing's from. So I should probably just drop these off, pull this back forward enough that I can get that climax out of the way. And then the other issue I guess we sort of have is with the steel pipes and whatnot, where do we put all these? If we're going to keep this as one train, maybe I can back this guy right back in here and store these 5 oil tankers. Now, is it better to have the... I think I want to unload the oil first, but I think if we go in there, we should have it so that the oil tankers are in at the end, right? So we can pull in, really almost drop these things off, but empty them all out, because we can hold 1,000 gallons of oil. We're not going to need any more oil for a while coming up there while we drop off a bunch of the steel pipes. Now we can hold 100 steel pipes. Oops, you know what? I never did put a link in there, did I? That wasn't very bright. Yeah, let's go put a link in there. I think I may have had a link in there, but I think I saved it and got out at one point. Not just right now, but yeah, get the idea. Bottom line is we need a link, no matter what my excuses are, right? Should be enough. A lot of running around. There we go. This is where the lack of going is a little bit annoying. It's like when you're just trying to do these little maneuvers and you're... That's why actually the Climax and the Heisler are not bad for doing yard work, right? Now, since these already have their brakes on them, let's just leave those brakes on there. I'm going to try to pull that one out. I've noticed it really... I've been paying more attention. It does whatever it wants with that link. It doesn't seem to really care whether you pull out one pin or the other. It just, whatever one it prefers is the one you're going to get. So let's do a little bit more wood. I want to kind of keep this guy hot because this is the one we're going to take over to the oil field. After we load the pipes, I don't know. I guess we're going to be hooked up to the pipe, so we could just load them up and then go over to the oil field with those tanks. And oops, let's go forward direction. All right, in other words, we can leave these here, fill up all of our steel with pipes, and then leave those steel pipes sitting here and go get these 5 cars filled up, and then just stop back in here real quick. And now again, is that worth it? Yeah, I think it is pretty good too, though I'll end up with those on the back. Or I guess I could do it either way, couldn't I? I'd have to re-drop off the tankers that way. Now what I have to do is get far enough out of the way of the Climax that the Climax can... Yeah, where can we put the Climax? I kind of want them in where those tanker cars are. I should have pulled maybe the tanker cars out, and we could have stuck the Climax in there. Or do I build another... Yeah, you know what? I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm struggling with this enough. I don't mind the idea of having an extra, even though I just threw all that heat in there, and I'm going to kind of waste it. It won't take too long to do this. So what I want to do is see how I keep putting these. I'm going to keep doing it again, just in case. This seems to be the most popular place for a rail siding. It's one of the reasons I didn't go too nuts with building other things. All right, let's do constant grade because it's all going to be on the level. I'm going to go out straight from here, and then let's just go straight. Are we putting gaps in between here, or is it just one? Nah, this is just one switch after another. So we'll just keep up that trend. All right, keep it uniform. All right, let's just make sure this end looks good. Yep, it does. Come in here. Some people don't like the new thing. I guess it's messing up the way they do the trout. What do you call it? The groundwork. It's really not bothering me at this point. It's one guy says he has vision issues. I could see where that could be a problem. Certainly have no issues if they make this optional. It's all, I'm assuming, cosmetic. I haven't really... It's not quite even with the other ones, but... Can we... Let's just work our way back to... Right? This thing doesn't even really need to be that long. We're only going to put that climax there, but this will give us another option. It's a shame that the real shame of all of this is that other one doesn't fit in the bypass lane we have. That's really what we need to be improving if we were going to improve anything. I did see on the changes list they were messing with the maybe this. Yeah. Just make it look nice again. Good enough. But they were messing with the splines, which doesn't have me too excited. Every time they mess with those splines, it means derailing, right? Does that look like it'll work? Well, maybe even another one, right? I mean, I don't think it's going to hurt to have another one. Kind of would be nice if you could do a whole area level, wouldn't it? Then again, it's not necessary either. Now we're going to make it. I just didn't want to make this too tight because then you get goofy splines as it is, right? Keep it. Yeah, that's we definitely need different switches. I understand. I know some people are asking for more prefab kind of stuff. They're thinking of other games and they want this game to be like their other game, which I guess is fair enough, but I can also understand why these guys would do it a little different sometimes. It isn't going to matter too much because it's going to be under the... I'll just make it even with these other guys. Oops, I just hit that button that causes me to do... I did constant, didn't I? I want variable stone wall, so that way I can come out here, make that a reasonably nice height, and then still have and do like a level one, right? Go back to level. I think that is about as nice as we can get it to look. And I make it as short as I possibly can, and away we go. Right? That look kind of uniform almost. Close enough anyway. Alright, so now we got to get rid of some of this. That's one thing. This is tree cutting simulator if it's nothing else. Yeah, so this is probably going to be one of the last regular episodes. This one and probably one more. I because we're really getting down to the 200 barrels was sort of my excuse to go another while longer, even though we had kind of completed a lot of the stuff that you would expect to do. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to disconnect this guy. All right, I can't get up there. Am I stuck? Oh, see, this is where we do this thing. Like, I think it's the T. I think it's that lean out. Yeah, that's what it is. All right, so that's not set. We need to undo these if they're set. Oh. No, we didn't. Okay, well, I guess we had the train there, so we didn't. We still have heat? Nah, that was a waste. I threw some heat in here. I don't think I really... Oh, but I had a hard time. I couldn't get the heat to go in, just so you guys know. So I had to crouch and open up the firebox. There you go. See how it's... Now it's going. There we go. Alright, so let's pull forward. We have pressure. Probably didn't even really need to do that, but firewood's cheap. Though I don't have any more firewood down here. So after a weekend or whatever it was of people like screaming bloody murder about the firewood situation, it turns out that this is the first time that I've had to refill one of these firewood stations after the initial... Oh, break. How close was that? Not too bad. Right, I need to do this. Even though I don't want to go in there. This one needs to get flipped after I get past it, but that was very close to a derailment. Not so much that we were pretty close to hitting it, but just I was obliviously pulling forward. Yeah, so we're going to just, for now, stick this guy in here. Oh, no, we want to go back into our new thing. What am I talking about? Let's see, we still needed to flip that guy to get far enough out. Oh, no, we're not far enough out. Almost. There we go. And that last switch is the right way. So there we go. Now we can just park this guy to our heart's content. And when we're ready to pick him back up to do his thing, or not, we'll have an extra slot down here. Good old climax. They did say they changed the speed to 5 meters per second, whatever the heck that means. Strange way of measuring speeds. I'm assuming it's around 10 or 15 miles an hour. I don't know. Yeah, why would they do meters per second and not kilometers per hour? That's confusing. I guess probably because that's how they deal with the mathematics in the game, I would think. Like if they've done it based on meters for whatever reason, like then... It's kind of odd, too, because then they have, like, PSI. So it's, I don't know. If you're going to do an authentic American thing, I understand you're probably trying to be diplomatic or something like that. But at the same time, you know, it would be more authentic and more realistic if you did just use English units. They're not that hard, you know. It's just because it's not 10 base doesn't make it that difficult. If you can't divide by 12 or other numbers, which... You know, it's just not that hard. All right, so now let's make sure we have a link in here, right? Put it in this one. Make sure there's not a link in this one. I forget what I did when I unhooked anyway. This time it did it right. We'll take that one back out. We don't have brakes on here, right? All right, so that guy's out of our way. It's a lot of time spent just doing the yard work. Sometimes I do all this stuff before an episode, but I didn't want to sneak 2 trains in, or 2, you know, I like to buy all the cars with everybody. Oops, wrong way. I guess you would probably in real life, you might have just broke something. I would imagine That's like a gearbox, and it probably wasn't the fanciest synchronized thing, and I forgot to flip that switch, didn't I? Let's back up a little bit more, and then we'll... You know, like, I really don't know exactly how the reverser works mechanically, but it's got to be something like some kind of a gearbox. And if it is, you don't usually want to shift your gearboxes from reverse to forward too quickly. And then you know what I'm going to do, just so I don't forget that? Well, no, we're going to go hook these up. Yeah, we'll worry about the tankers later, right? And it doesn't really matter. I can always pull past and unload the tankers or drop them off, and we'll see how it works out. Some of this whole 200 barrels has been to just see how the logistics really go for us. Because again, we keep expanding the rail siding down here. Like, you kind of see where you end up with the trains exactly. You could probably work it all out. Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. I'm doing the wrong thing yet again. This is not a good morning for me. We don't want these. We want the ones that are... These we do want eventually, but we need to at least probably get these second. Right, now what I have to do is work against getting in a rush, because then when I start feeling like I'm... All right, we don't want that. These need to go with them. So then the next thing to probably do is to pull those other cars out of the way before we start trying to work with the... loading up the steel. Though we probably could do them with them still sitting there. When we come back, I want it to be clear anyhow, so. Let's try this. No. I flipped the wrong one again, didn't I? But the wrong one is flipped, or is that the right one? No, that's this one. I don't want this one. We want this one. So at the very least, we're going to just stick these cars in here. Now, is that going to be enough room? I might have to extend that one to be a little bit longer to store these in here. And then the other question is, now, yeah, we want to leave these down here. These will be, even though we could use them for logs, I don't think there's... Yeah, I'm having a hard time in this train getting the F. They definitely have to work on their hit boxes a tiny bit. We're completely out of water temperature. Did I miss? I thought I put heat in there. I was telling you guys how I was having a hard time with the other one. Let's go for the full. That should have filled it all the way up. Yes. Let's see how far we get with this before it causes a pause in the video, right? See, we can't leave those there and drive all the way around the loop. Now, I'm not sure how important that is, but we're going to have quite a few of these cars. And I'm not even sure that we can load them all up without bumping into the cars down there. Now, we could have left these on the other side, these... But I'm not a huge fan of that either. These are going to go back up with us to haul more logs and lumber. And actually, we need to go get lumber. That'll be one of the questions when we go back up. Do we just take the right amount of cars for the lumber we need, or do we try to drag that whole train back down? It's not the best place to stop that. See how they all jumped? Yeah, so let's see, is that... Probably do this off camera, but let's run back there. I got to take the... Oh, let's... Might as well hook this up and... Oh, I didn't do the link thing again. Ah, good Lord. Or I did it in the other one, right? I don't have hardly any power. I don't need to be wasting the little bit of power I have left. What? You can do it. Come on. Probably enough. Yeah, I put it in that other... Just one of those days. We all have them, right? Some days are a lot easier than others. Some days it just seems like no matter what you do... Here we go. We got our temperature back, so we'll be... Come on. Yeah, they do need to... I don't know why they have that. I don't understand what's going on. They need to fix that steam vibrating issue. Especially for doing this yard work kind of stuff. You would expect it to be a little bit smoother than it is. There we go. No brake on there. That's a lot of faith in... Yeah, I don't see any brakes. Kind of trying to look to... I mean, the problem with these links is when they're not... Like, here we are, right? Like, you can't really tell. They look like they got connected. They just won't be. Oops, there's a break. Did I daydream about this one? Should be this one. Yeah, good. There you go. Yeah, see, we're barely enough. I might extend that just so we can push that guy thoroughly in there. Here. So now the question is, do we really want to be attached to all of this and do the steel pipes first? No, I need to get that other train out of here. So since that other one, they can't go too far, let's just set the brake on this. All right, disconnect that. I do have the link in there. You guys saw it, right? So we're going to go... Oh, now we don't want the link in this one, right? Well, let's take the link out of this one. I can't. All right, let's go take the link out of this one before we even get up there. Hopefully it'll stay in this one. All right, I can't take the link out of that. That's odd. I can't hit the F. There we go. Got all our heat and everything back. Yeah, so now we need to take... Can either take those guys up to get the thing, but I still need to probably get these guys out of the way. That way when we come back, we can just loop around and then any kind of turning around. That's what I'm afraid of, is there's some... Rather than have to turn around up there where we got to flip 18 things to get the switching right. All of those switches should be right to at least pull way out, because this is going to be... We're going to have... Like, some of the problems I've noticed that we're having are like rendering distance issues. You know, it just becomes impossible to almost see the end of your train. Yep, so we still have a link. We have a link in there. We took the one out of the other one. At least we'll get it right 1 out of 10 times. Yeah, I just cannot F-click on that for some reason. So now backwards, and I don't remember. It was a little bit finicky, but I don't remember it being as bad as it seems today. And I wonder if they were messing with stuff. They certainly seem to be hit or miss sometimes when they mess with stuff. I still laugh that they took away the ability to see what the percentage there was. Now you just have to guess. They did say something about more fine-tuning on the brakes. So this is where let's just leave it just like that. All right, that should have settled down. Oh, I fell in the firebox. Not good when you fall in the firebox. All right, so now... Yep, good, we connected. I don't know if I had much for brakes on here. Yeah, probably 2. Might have done this one because it was so close. No, let's... Sure, I got one down the other end too. So normally we won't have to go through all this. We won't be buying cars. I would have just unloaded all these. I could pull them around one way or the other, and then I could just drop them off in there, pick up my... Because, you know, this will... I'm trying to make this so that it's like a normal thing where we have to do the least work. The thing that I'm impressed about is that we really have like not had to take hardly... I mean, I've really, for all the running back and forth throwing switches and building tracks, like once that's done, I really haven't had to just drive trains. I mean, I drive an empty train back after, you know, but I mean, you got to return. It doesn't matter too much because you still have to drag just as many cars there and just as many empty cars back. So besides trains with empty cars, which is not pointless, I have very little... I don't think I'm going to have to make any trips that don't have something to do with something, right? Like that we're not hauling for one reason or another. Very, very few empty rail cars, you know? Or empty trains, or locomotives with no trains. Which is nice. It shows they really did a nice job of balancing certain things out. Yeah, there was just no way we were going to get that in the bypass loop. At some point, we might be able to make this... I might do that thing with the bypass loop where I try to hold that curve a little sharper. But I was able, no problem here, to unload all of these cars as long as I started from the back. So I did unload these first couple... too fast. I did unload those first couple cars at the end of the last video, but then I quickly pulled all the way forward and just kind of backed up through and unloaded them all, and it went quite well. And that's a pretty sharp turn. That's pretty close to as sharp of the turn I think that's at the iron mine where we're having all those issues, or coal mine where we're having all those issues. Now you see, this is where we get into... I don't know if this is going to be normal, and this is the size train we have. I might make a marker up here or try to remember. It just gets really hard to see. I think we have to go past... Well, let's just go past here so we know we're far enough. All right, if I could see we're past like this area. I think that's where the last switch is. Yeah, because we have to at least get past this switch to get out of this loop, or this, to get out of the bypass loop. It's funny, we're already into the intersection here. So like where I live, they got some train that unloads near kind of an industrial area, and it's just blocks every road in and out of this little town. I mean, you could drive like a couple miles up and out of the way, but yeah, I think we're far enough. And the thing is, sometimes it just sits there. It's one thing when the trains are moving, and you know, these guys are just doing their job. I'm not mad at them, but it's just, you know, this is where I used to work, so that's why I was so familiar with it. It's like if you're late, that stupid train, and then yeah, you can go up 2 miles, but then everybody else is going up 2 miles, and that's like right into the middle of town itself. And that caused all kinds of people to, like traffic lights would get backed up and that kind of thing. One of those towns too where they're big on their police and the 25 speed limit, so you don't want to be busting that wide open. All right, so now we have this one, and we should be backing into this one. Yeah, we're gonna have to keep all... I really wish they would give us signs. I know they think snow is a great idea, and it's kind of nice. I mean, certainly fitting with the mountainous pine tree kind of environment, but I would have preferred that they worked on signs. If they had the graphic artist doing all of this, you know, like That's my one big one. So that's what, and it's those kind of quality of life things that, they've been fixing bugs, things have been getting better. But we're just going to wait for more content before we do too many more episodes. And I think it would just start getting relatively repetitious. I may come back as they give updates and test some things out and maybe and do some things off camera, potentially. I don't like to mess with it too much off camera because this is sort of, I feel like, our play through together. I guess I could always create another save, but boy, that's a whole thing, isn't it? Well, no, I guess I can download my own save from that website. Man, that's kind of an interesting concept, isn't it? I'm not sure that I have to do it that way, but I don't know. Can you just copy one slave slot to the other? I guess you could. I mean, the map is pretty standard. You just have to have some, like, kind of way of keeping track of all these trees, which is probably a pretty massive thing. Let's slow that down to 20 since I can't really see very well what's going on back there. Now, I know we also have the caboose, not to change subjects continually and constantly, but with the caboose, does that give us any advantage as single players? Can we see from the caboose? That would be nice. Like in this circumstance, it would be nice if I could keep this up and then like switch to caboose mode and see what's going on with the back of the train. And as I approach this, I don't know, am I just going to back into this thing, or I think it's long enough, but I just can't really see back there without running back and forth the whole time, which is okay, but it would be nice in the long run if the caboose served a certain purpose. And maybe it does, and I'm just not aware of it yet because I haven't even tried to use it. And I don't really have a ton of money. As far as things go, I don't really see myself buying, as long as I'm staying on the scale I'm at, I don't see myself wanting to buy anything, but maybe I could see myself getting enough to haul 100 oil. So maybe 100, I'm not 100, but what would that be? 12, like 9 maybe of these tanker cars. And then I could see we got 32, maybe like a few more of those box cars, so we can get like 100 of those, and then that way everything I could haul, I think I could do by the 100, right? I feel like we're going kind of way too fast, even though I just can't see. I mean, my eyes are fine. It's just literally rendering distance things going on back there. We'll just go. If we hit, we'll just do it slowly. And if we know... we're still going backwards, right? We haven't... As long as it goes backwards another 5 feet. Or even right there, I think we're fine. Yeah, well, there we go. That's all we really had to have it do. Can the whole train fit in there? Might as well go back till we hit that thing. I don't think it's going to derail us or anything back there, as long as we're going this slow. You know what? I'm fine with that. Let's just go see, because I got to go set those brakes anyway, right? And then we'll bunch them up a bit and see what it looks like. But I like that, because this train's relatively long compared to some of the others, and the whole train fits in there. So if we're just wanting to switch trains down the road, like we can get another train, which really, that Eureka would be a good thing to try, though I'm not sure. A lot of people say it's really slow to get started. I don't know. Sometimes people complain it's just because they're idiots. Other times it's completely legitimate. So that's one of the other problems with Look at that. Boy, that was, we didn't hit that. That was legitimate. We might hit it when we go to bunch these things up, but there we go. We'll just set 2. That'll be enough. It's on flat ground. And I probably don't even need to bunch them up if they're pretty good. They're already pretty good as it is, actually. I might not. I'll take my chances, I think. Especially at the front of the train, still pretty much bunched up. By that I mean you just don't want a big gap in there, because that'll relink fine. But when the gap is like bigger than the link, I don't really like that, you know. Just kind of checking them. Yeah, we're looking good. We don't need to bunch it up, not any more than it already is. I don't think we could bunch it up more than it is. All right, so first two and last two. We'll disconnect that. All right, so now what are we doing? Now we're going to take, well, it doesn't matter. I think we're going to take these cars, but then we would detach them. Why don't we go take these cars, and then we'll go get some oil, and that will actually be a trip, because now that I look up, we're 40 minutes into this, and I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of yard work. Now we lost all of our heat that quick. How did we lose our heat that quick? Well, they could change things on us, right? Or were we just messing around with everything else that long and I didn't realize it? I'm guilty of not paying attention a lot of times. All right, well, there we go. All right, so we can drop that guy off there. Need to go past this one now, right? Yep. Now this one, I didn't do the brakes on the two I just dropped off, but I got to go check all of those other ones. Now we still have the link in there. That's good. Yeah. Getting to F is a little hard. That could definitely may have been taken the wrong way, but I think you guys know what I meant. Train stop us if it can. Yeah, good. Good. And like I said, no locks there, but we'll check each one just because. Yeah, look, so I said no locks, and then that next thing you know, that one had brakes on it. Probably was pushing it around with brakes since we didn't push it far, but then I probably sat there complaining about how the thing won't move, right? They call that genius. All right, now speaking of genius, yeah, now we're linked, and then I think we linked these, right? Because it was that second two cars. Good, so now we can actually go someplace. Let me do two things though. Let me pause the video and I'll go flip those switches and we'll let that heat build up fully. We're full up on heat, or pretty close to it anyway, and we are ready to go. So let's see. I was thinking, I ran all the way over there, by the way, just because I thought, well, this episode's getting way too long for limited action besides some yard work. But you can see does take time. There's no doubt. There's no doubt that it takes time. But that's nice. We got that set in there for the first time. You know, we've got a nice little setup here to make all the switching that I think we need. And we can increase it to some degree before we start running into more problems. Like, I guess you could even start doing things on the other side. So what I'm thinking of is, one of the thoughts I had, I'm better off going and dropping off, and I think I am. I think the thing to do in this episode is to go get the crude oil over to the refinery. Right? We do want to double check that we got all these in the right position. Yeah, that's right. This white does hurt. The snow does make it harder to see these switches, I noticed. Even when I was just running over there. So I'm not sure how big a problem that's going to be. Yeah, we got everybody attached. It's by the time you get to here, it's like, well, I might as well just run in there and get that, and then I cut over across this way to get back there. Handled it pretty well. Okay, some of the fear is that they're redoing these splines and all. That seems to be a big thing for them to work on. And then for those of you who watched this whole series, congratulations and thank you very much. I said one point when I was 10 episodes in, thank you to, the favorite people are the ones that are still watching. Well, those people that are 50 minutes or whatever we're at exactly into 45 minutes into this, 50th episode, whatever that 40-some episode, whatever we're at. Thank you very much for watching. Yeah, we have to remember to flip that on our way back out. Yeah, I think I'm better off just running these first, however many we can hold, right? 60. Run them over there, drop them off in the oil tank, and that way, like, when we come back, we can talk about combining the trip, or do we just make another loop? Because by the time you set it up, flipping all those switches to go into there and get another train is a bit of a pain in the butt too. And then maybe I won't have to do so much yard work in the next episode because we'll just have to pick up those other trains, the steel pipes, right? Get those loaded up, sent out, so maybe I could load them up before the next episode, and then we'll have to run up and get some lumber, and that'll be it. The big pain will be just dropping off all the steel pipes and lumber like 10 at a time, right? I don't think we have any steel pipes over there as it is, but we do have 30 tools, so I'm sorry, we do have 22 lumber and 1 crude oil according to my chart anyway. Yeah, if you guys had watched the original, we really bungled this. We'd have a lot more money, or at least a fair amount more money. Look, there's nothing. This thing, it's not even showing up yet. My trains are longer than that, further away. But you need to throttle. Maybe they adjusted it, but it flowed in there like at some astrophysics like rate. When they find a new star that's moving like speed of light, well, that's how fast this flows into the tanker. Now they probably changed it the other way, so what I'm about to do is like throttle it down, and then it'll take like, I need to do the marks again too, don't I? So I'm not sure what these marks are for 100%, but I guess they're just one. I'm pretty sure they're for this one. That's the case, we should stop. Yes, I don't have it. The marks are not very good to try to stop it when it gets next to this one, which isn't too bad. If you look down here, I'm just going to slam on the brakes when we get like there. All right. Move you that way. I have to grab this handle that I can't really grab. What is that? What? No. No. It's like going backwards. Assuming I don't actually... Oh, look, I can stand on the pipe. Let's make it look official anyway, right? So this is the one, the last time we opened this up, right, I'm just going to open it up like, less, 20, yeah, like 8%. I don't want to lose any of this stuff. This has been 40 hours, right? All right, so now, oh, that's already on. So are we getting stuff in there? Yep, there we go. So even at like 8 and that, I mean, I know that's slow, but you don't really have a way of telling that it's full, so you just kind of have to sit here, I'm assuming, then run back up there real quick and shut it off before the next one like you got, how long is that taking? Like 3 or 4 seconds for each one? Well, then when we run up there, that's how long we have to shut that valve back off before we waste one. Can we do it? All right, once we get to 11, I'm going to run up there. I have no way of knowing. Oh, okay. Did we get to 12? Well, we got to 12. How many did we have? 96. Good. So we actually did that right. Well, that's kind of nerve-wracking and definitely could use some improvement. Like, without another person down here to tell you when to shut it off, like that's kind of iffy. I guess you could try to shut that off, right? All right, so this was in a pretty good spot. So what I'm going to do is, it's usually like right the back half of that wheel is about even to where the height of another one would be. So we're going to get sticky like that where it won't go. Couldn't, it was very difficult to make that straight. So there we go. So now we could keep pulling up, keep doing that, and I will be back when we get, all of this loaded up. How's that sound? Save a little bit of time. We'll just rinse and repeat over and over again. All right, well, look at that glitching with the, there you go. See that stack behind the train there? All right, anyway, I'll see you once I get all these loaded up. All right, we got them all loaded up. That's nerve-wracking. When you don't want to waste any of your oil, if you do the math, everything is still looking good. So we had a total of 9 cars worth, 108 times 12, right? So now we still have 48, which is 4 cars worth. So you can see I didn't lose any, but yeah, that's worse than doing the coal or the iron ore when you think you might lose some of that. So we'll see. I flipped the flipper right up here, so we're going to be good that far, but we're going to have to flip them some when we get up to the intersection up there. And I'm definitely thinking, yeah, the best thing to do is just run up there real quick, dump these off and then head back here and get another load. And I'm thinking this is really just not that far. By the time I worry about going to pick up the steel pipes and flipping all the switches the other way, I think I'm better off just making 2 runs up there, and then I flip the switches, pull back in, drop these cars off. Then maybe one day in the future I'll have 10 of these cars, or at least whatever number makes sense to haul at least 100. We'll see. We could have it do 1,000, right? You never know. 1,000's a bit ambitious, I'm sure. 50 cars, yeah, it's going to be tough. You know what? I flipped the wrong thing. I'm about to derail. Darn it. We're rolling over and everything. I flipped this one, the in and out of the thing. I didn't flip the right one. Boy, this has been the way this day is. I'm going to have to take off the rest of the day as far as playing this game goes. This is the one I needed to flip. And I flipped the other one. I realized I threw on the brakes. I did what I could. Hopefully we didn't lose much more than the locomotive here. Like I said, not really a big deal. I'm so good at it now. All right, are you not going to... There you go. Should be able to place them right here, maybe. Right, hold the left click. Oh. Come on. What you have to do is get him on there, and he's going to want to be the wrong way. Hold the left click till he changes position like that, and then right click. There we go. We got it. All right, so we should be good on the... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, shoot. Well, this is downhill. It shouldn't go too much further up the other way. That's why this is sliding away. And the other worst part is... Come on, get back here. There you go. All right, so now... Let's, put that guy in, even though I don't think we get a right click on that. We just get a pull the tong out. But watch, this thing will switch over to like a regular link. And I've heard people say that they think that's the reason. I have no idea. Is that tong link any different? Why doesn't it stay a tong link? I don't know the answer to these questions. What do we have? We probably have a regular link in here, right? No, we don't have nothing. So let's hop in there. I just got the fuel in. We were all ready to go. All right, did I flip this one? Yeah, I flipped the right way now. This one's flipped the right way. Yeah, some days you're better off not getting up out of bed. I'm not going to say that because I'm sitting here playing video games, but it's definitely been every chance I had to forget a link or, in that case, flip the rail or not flip the right thing. It seems to be that kind of day for me. No particular reason that I know of. Nice and gentle bump. Oops, right up here. Yeah, so there's no link there at all, right? So let's turn these brakes. Everything else seemed to stay together, which is good. Maybe not, but we'll find out when we go to. Oops, did we not put that one on? Oh, that's right. It was this. Yeah, I haven't really noticed a huge difference with leaving this at some small percentage. I guess maybe it'll help, but I don't think that was really the issue when we lost that. Oh, look, we forgot to close that thing. All right, well, we'll just ignore it. Oh, you know what? We need more. Need more of this if we're going to make it the whole way. And I'm determined to get a trip done now. That's what these are supposed to be about. But like I said, I wanted to show some yard work. I didn't imagine it would take 45 minutes worth of yard work. If I had made less mistakes, might have been a little bit better. They're still all attached. Yeah, I should have pulled that thing in. Wonder if that auto pulls in. Some of these buildings I noticed reset. Like every time you close the game and reopen. Like the pipes are up in the towers each time, even if you left them down. Things like that. Yeah, we're going to have to stop just ahead anyway after all of that. Precious cargo, crude oil. It is nice. The snow is definitely a nice change. And I do agree with people. I'd like to be able to turn it on or off. And I could see why if you had a vision issue, that would really be a big thing for you. All right, let's hop out. That one's right, actually. We want to go this way. This one's wrong. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, see, it definitely, with the white and the red, it just makes it that much harder to pick out. When it's green and dark and all, like you can pick out the white or the red pretty well. All right, so that one is right. And the other one was wrong. So we should be good to go. Now the other end, I really don't think this matters too much which way we go in or out, right? It does matter when we drop off the other stuff, but we should be able to pull right through with the oil. That's just more a matter of whether we have the bypass track set or not. Let's hop in from here. Yeah, we still have enough heat. Not going that far. Everybody still moving? Let's make some noise. That track looks a lot less straight than it used to be. Maybe not. I don't know. This was never 100% perfect. Oh, we do have to watch out for trees in the tracks too, because I've never been down this. Not since they did that thing. It's been that long. Yeah, that just if you guys can see the look in the distance, it really takes away from the snow in some ways when because you are looking ahead up there a lot. That load distance really starts to matter more with the snow, as opposed to all kind of brown blending in together. You can do it, Cook. Come on, Cookie. So we're going to pull in first, which is fine. This is the way we want to be going for the other stuff, so we can back in and dump it all off. Sharp turn there, isn't it? That's going to be an issue for mega trains. Good, we're set right in. That's usually what I would like to do, is get it going right past the thing that we want. I should have checked that a little better, huh? I don't think I have any marks for this one. I didn't have many rail cars last. Oh, look, we got a great shadow. Yeah, there we go. We're not going to get fancy trying to do 3 here, because this stuff's too precious to me. All right, are you... Yep. Yep, are you going in? Yes. All right, well, there we go. I think I'm going to call it quits for this episode. I need to not play the game until I can manage to flip switches and remember to check links and all that kind of stuff. So, but there we go. We got the crude oil, so by the time I'm done, we'll get that. When we come back, I'm just going to make another run down there. Just keep the 5 cars attached, even though we'll only have 4 oil cars. Just make another loop through here, then probably try to make sure our switches are ready to go up here. And let's just kind of confirm. Yep, we got 25 oil. When I said we had 1, right? So we had 1 to start, plus each car holds 12. We just did 2. So no steel pipes. We do have a little bit of lumber. So that's going to be good, because that'll help us get that much less lumber that we have to load this time, right? But we'll bring down enough, over 100. Well, I guess all those cars will be... Well, no, we could do half the cars. I don't know. We'll get enough lumber down here to process everything. We'll do the mathematics, and then we'll get some more barrels of oil going. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We're getting towards the end of our 200 barrels of oil. We got a lot of yard work in this episode, but the next one will be almost all train driving. So I hope you're looking forward to it like I am, and hopefully I'll have my A game on then. All right, guys. Have a good day. Enjoy yourselves. And if this is Christmas, I forget exactly, or if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If not, Happy Holidays. Well, you can have a Happy Holidays either way. But anyway, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.